Weekend, and I was kind of thinking about what to chat about today. I should make my video on. Usually, I do this during my walks in the morning, and I want to talk a little bit about fear, right? And why we should not fear, and why it can be a good thing sometimes. And so, lots of times when it comes to, well, let me tell you what inspired this thought here. We were going for a walk this past weekend with my family, my kids, and my wife, and my son was taking his scooter, and so he's, a typical boy. I'm used to seeing him get on the scooter and just recklessly abandon, go down the hill a million miles an hour, with no fear at all, no hesitation, and he's got his helmet on and whatnot, but if he takes a spill on that hill, it's going to be a rough scene. But I've watched him do it many times, and as much as I want to tell him, slow down and not do it, I know that he's going to do it, and he'll be okay, even if he does crash. But regardless, this time he was going down the hill, and he was doing it very slow and very cautiously, and which is unlike him. So I was like, "Well, what's wrong, Colin? What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, the last time I was on my scooter, I fell and I hurt myself." And I said, "Oh," I said, "You're afraid?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "It's okay, buddy. You don't have to be afraid. It's okay to be afraid. I understand that probably you're thinking about how much it hurt, and you want to be a little bit more careful this time, which is a good thing." He learned that probably he should be a little bit more cautious. But I said, don't be afraid of the hill. There's going to be lots of opportunities where you fall, no matter how cautious you're going to be, and you're going to get hurt. And I'm not saying you need to be reckless, but you don't have to be afraid of the hill anymore. Just you could be a little bit more careful next time. And say, okay, Dad. I don't really know. He's 6. I don't really know if it really made much sense to him, but all I know is by the end of the walk, he's back to his normal pace of scootering, and other hills didn't seem to bother him so much. I don't know if it was just he forgot about his fear or if what I said sunk into him. Not sure, but I think a lot of times um, fear holds us back. And when we're talking about our health and wellness, I think like the first thing that people overcome or need to overcome is the fear of change. I think embarking on something, as much as sometimes people find it exciting, I think a lot of people also find a lot of fear in change, and especially if they've failed once before at it. If you've tried to lose body fat several times before and you failed, you might be afraid of trying again, right? Because you're just going to fail, and you remember the last time how bad that felt or whatnot, and it wasn't good, and it might keep you from trying again. Or you might hurt yourself in the gym. You might be doing some exercises and tweak your back or hurt your shoulder or whatnot, and you might become afraid of doing those certain exercises again. And or you go on a run and you twist an ankle, roll an ankle, or if you're an athlete, if you're afraid of losing or being disqualified or dropping out of a race, you're afraid of that happen, right? I'm going through a little bit of fear myself, right? And this is the other reason why I decided to talk about this is because this weekend I have a big race coming up, and it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be tough. I know it's going to be painful during it. I know that um, it's going to be it's a well-known hard obstacle course race. Um, and I'm always a little nervous going into these things, but I get particularly nervous about this one because of how daunting this race can sometimes be. And part of the reason why I like it so much, I think, is because of the fear. I think I like proving to myself the feeling that you get after you conquer that fear. And once you take that first step past the start line, and once you get halfway through the race and whatnot, and I know there's a risk that I could hurt myself and I could have to drop out, and that'd be worse, and I will feel like crap if I have to do that. And that fear always lingers in the back of my head. But I think that's also what drives me to actually do the race, to face the fear, to do the thing is because I want to prove to myself that I can do these things. And so if you've tried multiple times and you've failed at something, whether it's a body composition goal or doing some type of physical activity or um, fixing your sleep or working on your gut health or addressing some type of medical concern, and you've tried multiple times and you've failed and you're afraid of trying again and risking more failure. um, use that fear to say as a learning experience, like my son did. He fell, and now he's a little bit more afraid. He's afraid. He's fearing going down the hill super fast. But hopefully, what I said to him was a bit of a learning experience, and that he can still go fast if he wants to, but maybe he'll be a little bit more cautious next time. Maybe he won't go as fast, or maybe he'll go fast for a little bit and then stop, or maybe he'll go fast on one hill, but on this hill it's a little bit more steeper, so I'm going to be a little bit more cautious, right? I think failure and fear can be powerful lessons, and I think that's ancestrally driven into us, right? When you fail, especially if you hurt yourself, right? You remember what you did to hurt yourself, right? Your in your The fear is a natural reaction to preventing you from hurting yourself again. Like if I've tweaked my back numerous times while deadlifting, yet I still deadlift at least once a week, every week. But every time I tweak my back, I learn something about how that happened to prevent me from doing it again in the future, right? And usually it's like these deadlifts didn't feel good from the start, and I shouldn't have been pushing them, and that is something just didn't feel right. And I always I ignore that feeling, and I push harder, and then I hurt myself. So I think one of the big things that I've done, in that realm of exercise and hurting myself and being afraid of hurting myself again, like for example, today I deadlifted, and last year around this time, I deadlifted and tweaked my back 2 weeks out from my race. So today, and I couldn't race. I didn't end up racing because I hurt my back and I couldn't race. I just couldn't do it. It was pretty disappointing. And so today, going into this deadlift session, I was afraid of hurting my back again a week out from this race and not being able to do the race again. And a year later, that was stuck in my mind. But what I said to myself is that I'm going to deadlift. I'm just going to deadlift as long as it feels okay, right? And I'm not going to care about what the weight is in the bar. Once I get to the point where the weight feels good and I feel like I'm getting an effective workout, I'm going to stop there. Whether that weight is lighter or heavier than it normally is, it doesn't really matter. It's how it feels. So I went through, I did my deadlifts. Everything's okay. Happy to report that. So one day closer to making my race without hurting myself. Um, but I learned my lesson, right? And I'm a little bit more cautious. I think I've got a better handle on how to approach these things going forward. And so, yeah, maybe you failed the last time you attempted your body recomposition, your fat loss goal, your muscle gain goal, or whatever, and you lost the weight, but you couldn't maintain it, or you never really got to the weight at all, and you never even made any progress, or um, maybe you tried something, but it was ended up being a disaster from a stress, work, family life point of view, and that got you derailed, right? Hopefully, those failures, provide you some insights into this next attempt, right? Okay, I know that I probably shouldn't be pushing this strict diet weight loss attempt if I have a lot of other stress in my life, because I know that um, I find comfort in food, and when I take food away, that it just makes me want it more. And now this time, I'm going to choose. I'm going to start from a place where I'm in a very calm, relaxed state. There's not a lot going on in my life, And if I do find myself in a stressful situation, I'm going to allow myself to eat more healthy food and not worry about the diet for the time being. As, at least I'm eating healthy food and I'm not eating crappy food, right? And that's a win, right? That's progress. And maybe something else comes up and this times you fail, but that is another opportunity for you to learn a lesson and move forward. So don't let the fear of failing keep you from trying. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Don't let the fear of failing keep you from trying to continue to make progress. Um, if you hurt yourself in the gym, get back in the gym. Examine, and take the time you need to heal yourself. But then when you're healed, the best thing you do is get back to what you were doing and take what you did the last time and what you learned from that failure, from that injury, and apply it here, right? Just like I did when I hurt my back 2 weeks out from my race, or like my son did when he was going too fast down the hill. So apply what you've learned from that failure, and it's okay to have some level of fear going back into it. I'm not saying go and you shouldn't be afraid at all. Everyone's afraid of something, and you have every right to be afraid. It's a natural reaction. Like I said, your body's trying to protect itself. The best thing you do to conquer that fear is to get back to what you're doing, do it in a better manner, apply what you've learned from that last failure, and move forward. And so I think a lot of people might get paralyzed by their fear of failure, or the fear of potentially failing, and never actually make progress. If you can't make progress unless you try, and if the failure is keeping you from trying, then you're not getting anywhere. So you have to try, and maybe it means failing again. You probably will fail again. I'll hurt my back again. It's inevitable, but I'm still gonna get back in the gym and learn from that stuff. And so that's really the message today. Simple. I hope it's effective. I hope my son inspired some learning from you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Or if you want to message me, please message me. I'm happy to answer any comments in any form, in any medium, however you want to do that. And as always, if you want to keep up with all the content that I am putting out on a weekly basis, please scan that QR code in the upper corner there and jump on the newsletter. Just enter your email address, and that will put you on the newsletter, and that will allow you to keep up with everything that I put out, these videos, blog posts, etc. And I do have some spots open for one-on-one coaching. So if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, please send me a message. I'm very easy to find. Or you can go to my website, rjbhealth.coach, click on the schedule discovery call button right on the homepage, fill out the form. That's also the best way to get, if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, that'd be the best way to do it. But if you want to just reach out directly, you can do that too. And with that, I hope everyone has a great weekend. And I'll come back next week with a report on how the race went. And I'll chat to you all then.